Hey, all right. So I am really happy that I have you here with me today, Sharona. We're just going to have an open conversation, and then you can just kind of let me know what it's been like for you. I believe we're just over 2 months right now. So I got a few questions for you, and we could just start if you're ready. You ready?
Ready?
Okay. All right.
Ready when you
So
are.
I am ready. I am ready. Okay. So, let me think about this. So I guess my first question for you is just to really share with me, and I really want you to be honest about this. Um, what was going on for you before you actually started or you joined the program? Like what was happening in terms of where you were at in terms of like your feminine energy, how you were showing up, those types of things.
Okay, so before I joined the program,
Yeah.
I've noticed that I wasn't like I show up
Yeah.
feminine in the way I dress, in the way I put myself together. I love to get my hair done.
Yeah.
I love to, just get the makeup done,
The
the
nails, all
glitz,
that
the
stuff.
glams, everything, right?
Yeah.
I love those type of stuff.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was that the inside wasn't matching the outside, right?
Yeah.
So people would always describe me as rough. Like you're
Ooh.
very, yeah, like you're very rough. You're very aggressive in the way you come across. Like, and not just like in my personal life, but also in my work life,
Okay.
and as a mom, like people would just be like, wow, like you're so rough. And people, like I know people have also like described me as being intimidated,
Oh.
like they're intimidated
Huh.
by, yeah,
How does
yeah.
that feel? Like, or how does it feel when you would hear people say that? Or if they're still saying like what does that make you feel?
Well, I don't think I can see where they're coming from. I
Yeah.
really do see where they're coming from, right?
Yeah.
Because it's um like I'm a no nonsense person. I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
like, you know what? This is what you see is what you get, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything for anyone.
Yeah.
So it didn't it didn't affect me in a negative or a positive way. I'm just like, well, you know what? It's not my intention to be intimidated, like it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
However, um I think in setting boundaries, because I'm a person of boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So in setting boundaries, it come across differently to others, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
me, I'm setting boundaries, but to others, it's like, oh my gosh, this girl is not nice, you know?
Yes. And a lot of people don't know what to do when a woman
Right,
has boundaries, right?
right,
They're a bit
right.
taken aback with that. So,
Mhm.
okay, okay. So that's kind of where you were before joining the program, kind of noticing and like you're being able to hear what people are saying. Anything else? Anything else that you realized about yourself before joining?
Um, Before joining the program, I think, and I've mentioned this like recently,
Yeah.
I am this person that like always want to resolve people's problem. Like I'm a people pleaser. I
Mm,
like to go above and beyond for people. Like if I have like the last penny in my pocket and
yeah.
I need it, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it to somebody else. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And do
Yeah.
without because I'm like, you know what? I'll figure it out
Yeah.
for myself,
Yeah.
So I've always like been the person to try and figure out to problem solve for other people. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, these last couple of days, not couple of days, but since I've joined the program, I've just
Yeah.
been like, you know what? I need to pay attention to this and I
Yeah.
need to stop, right? I need to stop.
Mm,
Like, I need to, be intentional. Yes, I can help people, but, I use this thing where I'm saying, and I just said to my kids just last week, I'm like, I feel like I am continuing to pour from an empty glass, right? And I said,
yeah.
I keep pouring into people, and there's no one pouring back into me. So the glass is
Mm,
empty, is
yes.
what I said to my sons the other day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're saying, um, it's so relatable. So many women, I'm sure they'll be able to relate to what
Mm,
you're saying because so many times we're always putting so many other people ahead of ourselves. And before you know it, like we're running on empty and then we're drained and we're like, okay, I'm just as exhausted. But we didn't realize it was happening as it was happening until it finally like it hits you.
Right.
Do the words like survival mode, control, are those things that were part of your vocabulary or
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. It was always like I'm constantly in
mm,
survival mode. And the other day, somebody broke down what resilience mean. Like
yeah,
they just gave a different meaning for what resilience meant to them. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's not resilience is not like the greatest thing when I heard that person meaning behind it. And I'm
yeah.
like, resilience is like us constantly be in survival mode. Like, it's
Mm,
not like, oh, like you're this strong and, like mighty person. I'm like, no, like you're constantly like fighting and fighting and fighting, figuring things out. Like, there's never a time where there's a rest, period. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want anybody to label me as resilient
Resilient.
anymore because like it's actually not. I was
You're like,
like,
I don't want that
no, I
label.
don't want that. I don't want that. But honestly, I felt like that's been my life, you
Okay.
know? I'm
Hmm.
constantly like, having to like figuring it out. And before one thing resolved, something else pops up,
Pops
So
up.
I'm
Yeah.
constantly in that, you know, fight or flight mode.
Ooh.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I get that. I so get that. Oh my goodness. You're speaking the language of like it's so relatable. All right, let me ask you, what would you say was that thing for you that made you finally say, okay, I can't keep doing this. I need coaching, I need help, I need to do something. What was that for you?
For me, it
Yeah.
was anger.
Mm,
Yeah, it was
okay.
anger. Like, I've been struggling with just not being at peace in my
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
It was I remember our first meeting, I told you like I'm like I feel I feel burnt out on the inside. I
Yeah.
feel like no matter what I do, it's never enough. And I feel like there's just this constant anger that
Yeah.
I'm carrying that I just
Mm,
can't seem to shake. Right. And I'm
okay.
like, no matter what I do, I just can't get to that happy place in my life. Right. I was coming from a place of like broken, empty, like
Yeah.
all of those things. And I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, why? How come, no matter what I do, I keep feeling like this? So
Mm,
that was like, that was the reasoning behind like me wanting to like say, you know what, let me explore this, let me see if how can I properly heal from the inside, not the outside,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
properly like really do the work.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
needed help to do that work, to get to the root of the problem. Yes, that's what I said to you
Yep.
when
I
we very
remember.
first, I said I need to get to the root of this problem because I feel like everything that I've been doing has been surface, surface. So
Oh, yep.
I do something and it feels good right now, but then we didn't dig up. When you're planting a tree
Yeah.
and you have to go down into the soil to like put it down to like, so the roots can start spreading all over, right? I
Yeah.
felt like I didn't get to the root of the problems.
Yeah.
And that's why I was always like carrying this anger inside of me and I wasn't able to like shake it.
Yes. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. Because when you have when you're wearing all of these different hats and all these different demands start coming at you, you can start to build up resentment. And that
Right.
resentment can turn to anger and it's like festering inside of you. Just like and you're trying to figure out like, where did this actually start?
Yes.
Like, what is
Yes.
the one thing? And it's like, it's not really one thing, it's multiple different
Yes.
things, right? Coming
Multiple little
all
things.
together.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay, so here you are. You're now in the program. What would you say is one thing that you've noticed about yourself that has already changed in these last 2 months and already shifted? And where is your anger at now? I know it's only been 2 months, but where is
Mm-hmm.
your anger at now? What else have you noticed that started to shift and change? And even bringing in some of the examples that you told me before, like and compared to where you are now. What's changed in the last 2 months for you?
The thing that I would say changed the most is the way I approach things now,
Okay.
right? I'm normally, when I approach things before, I didn't think, right? I was just like, I went right in. Right
Okay.
in, started the program, when they say you got to think before you speak.
Yeah.
So I've now started to pause before I react, right? I,
Mm-hmm.
think I stop, give myself time
Yeah.
and say, you know what? Like you can react this way or you can react that way. I remember a long time ago hearing something that is this so the situation you're facing right now,
Yeah.
is this a 5 second problem, a 5 minutes, a 5 hour, a
Mm.
5 day, or 5 years? So you decide how long, right? You decide how long or how big is this problem, because it could be a 5 second issue that you turn into a 5 days problem, right? So
Yes.
I've now stopped and say, you know what? Let me think this through, before I react or before I move or before I do anything. I stop, I pause, and I said, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm
Okay.
ready to go.
How does
Yes.
that feel doing that though? Because for someone that's very always like kind of quick to react and kind of quick to kind of give you the comment or the like, you know what I mean, respond. What does
Honestly,
that feel like?
it feels amazing. It really feels amazing because you know what? In a sense, I took back my control,
Mm,
right? I took back the control. Like, so I don't allow situation or people to dictate how I react, right?
right.
Because when I do that, I've noticed that I've given up the control to either that situation or the person or whoever it is,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Me reacting in like a quick, like I remember being young, my mom used to always she's always tell me I'm very impulsive. She's like, you're
Okay.
very impulsive. You don't think, you just get up and do stuff. I'm the type of person, Coach Heather, like, listen, if I will make, I'm not a I'm a planner now.
Yeah.
But for example, like if I want to go somewhere, I'm not gonna sit down and plan it through. I'll get up and be like, oh, I'm driving to New York tomorrow.
Right.
No? And it wasn't planned out or anything. I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to New York tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom's like, oh my gosh, like you're so impulsive. You need to
Hmm.
stop doing that.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, no, I do what I want when I want, how I want it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no. Back to like what I was saying, like me slowing down and
Yeah.
being intentional,
Yeah.
I maintain that control instead of giving up that control to
Mm.
whatever it is.
Ooh, and that's such
Yeah.
a, I actually like the way in which how you're using the word control because you're actually using it in a very positive way, right?
Yes.
Compared
Yes.
to where it's interesting, I don't even know if you realize that compared to how when a lot of women are coming into the program, or if I'm talking to women through email or through DM, and when they're saying control, it's the word control and how they're using it and how some of the women coming into the program have used it. It's like it's very negative.
Negative.
But the way
Absolutely.
how you're using control and what you've been able to learn and what you've adapted and the tools, you're actually using the control in such a positive way to
Hmm.
help you. And how
Yes.
you, oh my gosh, I love that. That is
Yes.
such a good reflection. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good one, Sharona. That was good. I don't even know if you
Thank
realize how good that
you.
was. Okay. Okay, so if I was to ask you where you're at in terms of your anger, because that was the original reason why you came, right? You're like, I don't know what's happening with my anger. That's happening for you in terms of the survival mode. Like, where are things at? Again, I know we're just 2 months in, but I'd love to like know like how where would you kind of measure it where you're at now?
Well, I would say like I've noticed a change.
Yeah,
Again, like it's 2 months, but
yeah,
there has been growth in that area,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Again, I am able to I'm able to reflect and I'm able to again with that word control, I'm able to like not be so quick to allow
Yeah.
my emotions
Hmm.
to rule or to run wild, right? I'm
Hmm.
able because anger is an emotion,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm able to to put it in check now,
Okay.
right? I
Yep.
haven't perfected it or anything. And again, going back to, am I gonna let this 5 second issue
Yeah.
cause me to be angry for 5 hours? You know?
Yeah.
So I'm able to like just, you know, take a step back and realize, okay, you know what? I feel this emotion right now. What
Hmm.
can I do to switch that?
Just switch that.
Right? Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have like, I think the biggest thing is my my children, right? Like, oh my gosh, teenage.
I was gonna ask you, what is it like right now with
Heather, I have a 19 and a 15-year-old, and I'm telling you, they are like the biggest part of like emotions for me or like
yeah,
getting me to that place,
yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I said to my son, I was like, I need a timeout. I need a
Ah,
timeout. And a timeout, I know, growing up when we put kids on timeout is because they've been bad, right?
yes, yes.
And I said, so I switched that. I said, so when I have a discussion or a disagreement or anything, they've done something and I find that it's gonna make me mad or angry. I said, you know what? Give me a minute. I need a timeout.
This is
And
huge.
yeah, I said I need a time off for myself before I before we can have this conversation. I need some time to myself, right? And my 15-year-old, he's a pusher. Like he's a pusher. And he's
Yeah.
like, "So how long do you need?" And I was like, excuse you? Yeah, how long are you how long are you gonna need? I said, as long as it takes me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It may take me 20 minutes. It may
yeah.
take me a day. It may take me 2 days or 5 days. I don't know.
I don't
But I
know.
need a timeout because I need to work through this before we can have a conversation. Right?
Sharona, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I have to give
Mm.
you your flowers. My eyes are wide because I want to laugh, and I'm actually so proud of you
Please.
all at the same time because I'm thinking any mom that's going to be listening to this, they're going to be like, what? She's giving herself a timeout. Or maybe there might be
Yeah.
other mothers or other parents that actually can completely relate, like, oh my gosh, I do this all the time too, or I need to start implementing this because our words
Hmm.
are so powerful. And sometimes in the moment, it's like you want to respond or you want to do what you think, okay, this is what should be happening. But it's like
Yeah.
you may have a different angle or a different response or a different way how to look at it if you give yourself that time, that pause, like you said, that breather to come back and then respond in a different way or look at it
Yeah.
in a different light.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like with the field I'm in, I remember learning from earlier that listen, the minute you give out a consequence, you cannot take it back.
Yeah,
Right. So I've
yeah.
always kept that in my head and be like, you know what? And so I'm not quick to be like giving out consequences because I'm telling you, I'm extreme. I am
Okay.
so extreme. So I don't want to say something in the heat of the moment that
Yeah.
I'm going to regret. And that's why
Yes.
I've implemented timeout for myself, not for them, it's for me. Because I need to make sure that what I say, I mean it, and I have to follow through because I'm not going back. Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I love that. Oh my goodness. You've given me some really good gems. I want to ask you one more question. Because you've shared so much, and I think a lot of women will be able to relate, especially moms. They'll be able to relate to what you're saying. So if a woman is kind of watching this right now and she's feeling like I'm always in survival mode, or I don't know what to do. I feel like I have to be on top of everything. I need to like respond. I need to be the people pleaser. I need to do all of the things. What would you tell her?
To join the feminine
The feminine pathway,
pathway
yes.
program. To join the feminine pathway program. It works, okay, honestly. But like what I would tell moms is that listen, um we're not perfect, and I think
Yeah.
that's what we I am such a perfectionist, and like I've always want to be the perfect person. I want to be the perfect Christian. I want to
Yeah.
be a perfect mom. I want to be the perfect daughter. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I want to walk that straight line. And we're so hard on ourselves because we have this image of perfection. So we need to let that go. Number one, throw that out the door. We
Mhm.
are not perfect. God, He said we are perfect in His image,
Yeah.
right? In
Yeah.
His image. Like the only person is perfect is God Himself,
Yeah.
right? So throw away perfection. Um, let your shoulders down. Remove that high expectation that you have for yourself, right? Because I think, well, not I think, I know that's what has been like, having me in this like captive, in this thing of captive, because I have this high expectations, and every time I don't meet them, I'm like so hard on myself, and I beat up myself because I am not meeting my own expectations, right? So
Yeah.
we need to just like remove all those barriers that we've set up for ourselves, and
Mhm.
really, really, really exercise grace, exercise
Mhm.
patience with yourself, right? You are only one person, and there's only so much you can do in a day. I always say to everybody, like, when people look at me, they're like, oh, how do you do this and how do you do that? And I said, we all have 24 hours in a day. I choose what I'm going to do with my 24 hours, and so should you.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
don't look at me and be like, oh, I wish I had this,
Yeah.
because we all have the same 24
For
hours.
hours. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I just try and tell like, if I could tell like a single mom or anyone listening, just let go of the expectations and just give yourself time, be patient with yourself, and just like give yourself room to make mistakes, because that's how we're gonna grow.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. I know I said last question, but this is really my last question to you because you're just like dropping so much knowledge, and I love this. Um, what is one thing, if you can say, that you actually are still looking forward to grow in or to see evolve or transform yourself as you continue on in the program?
What is one thing?
Yeah.
Um, Again, like, it's only been for what, 8 weeks, right?
Yeah, 8 weeks.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so there's still so much more that I wish to accomplish.
Yeah.
I want to, I strive to be a better person,
Yeah.
right? And just to be more patient, to be more kind. I know last night, like in our group call, like there was so much gems, and I'm like, oh
I
my
know.
gosh, like, and I am practicing listening for the
Yeah.
sake of listening and not listening to give advice, right? Because I'm always that quick person ready to, like, yep, I have the solution. Yep, let me tell you what you need to do. So now I am practicing listening for the sake of like supporting others and not listening to speak, right? I do want to get better at like just continue to growing, like self-control, and just to fully be healed,
Yeah.
fully be healed from like the like all the feelings that I've struggled with. I'm still working on it.
Yeah. Releasing a
Yes.
lot of, stepping out of that
Yeah.
masculine energy and stepping more into that feminine energy that we
Yes.
all talk about
Yes.
so often. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
Sharona, you have been amazing. So
Thank
amazing. I have to
you.
thank you so much for your time, the gems, the knowledge,
Thank
like, and
you.
you even sharing like how everything has come together, the tools, our group calls. I love this, and I love to see how this is helping you evolve as an individual, as a mother, and with your friends. I so thank you for your time, and I so look forward to our next update and just to see how much more you've grown and where you are at that point in time. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Sharona. You're so
it.
welcome. Thank you.